Hello friends, welcome. I received a comment from a viewer requesting that I do a video on how to add personality to a newer builder grade home. And this really resonated with me because I live in a newer builder grade home. Because as they pointed out, this is just the reality for so many of us. This is what's available and accessible to so many people, especially those of us in North America, where older buildings, character homes are just less common. I know in the city that I live in, finding a character home is incredibly rare, and when you do find one, it's usually very expensive because of the rarity. So what are we to do when the only option is Builder Basic? Let's get into it. My first piece of advice is don't fake it. Now, I am someone who believes that architecture should reflect the time in which it is created, not try to recreate something from the past. I think that new communities should look like the modern neighborhoods that they are, not like a theme park. Do you know what I mean by that? You know, when you drive through some new communities and you have a Tudor style house that's next door to a craftsman, and then there's a prairie style, and nothing feels modern or cohesive. And I realize that when it comes to exteriors, that often is out of our control. This is something that's determined by builders and developers. So let's focus on what we can control, and that is the interior. So what I mean when I say do not fake it is do not try to make your new home look like something it isn't, old. If you are trying to replicate a style or era that your home isn't, it's just going to come across as fake. You can't cheat your way to the kind of charm that comes with age. Now, that doesn't mean that everything that you pick has to be overtly contemporary or trendy. You're just going to want to stick to classic styles that feel timeless. So what can you do if you like more historical styles and you want to bring them into your home? Do this through furniture, art, and accessories, which brings me to my next tip. Buy vintage. Buying vintage is one of the best ways to infuse a newer home with character. It will allow you to bring in whatever styles appeal to you and add that charm you're looking for regardless of your home's architectural style. If you've been watching my other videos, you've probably started to notice that I am a big fan of mixing design styles. And I love the juxtaposition of more traditional styles used alongside more contemporary ones. So whether it's thrifting, Facebook Marketplace, or estate sales, embrace shopping secondhand. Try adding architectural interest to your home. Does your new build feel like a bit of a shoebox? You don't want every wall to just be a large, empty expanse of drywall. Now, again, keep in mind my advice not to do anything that could look fake. So you don't want to be adding a bunch of really ornate molding and trim in an attempt to make your new home look like a French chateau, but try to find ways of infusing some architectural details that feel appropriate for the era of your house. So maybe you do something really cool with your fireplace mantle, or you add some floor-to-ceiling bookcases to replicate the look of built-ins. I've also really been loving lately this idea of wood paneling. So again, nothing that feels too traditional, but I think something like this would be beautiful in a bedroom. And then of course there's this image that I have shown in a previous video, and yeah, believe it or not, this is apparently a builder grade house, and I think adding this wood cladding to the dining room makes it feel not builder grade at all. Color. Color is such a great way to bring personality into your home. I mean, there is a reason that they call it builder beige. Now, if you're someone that likes color on the walls, I realize this can be a bit challenging in newer built homes because they are so often very open concept. So there may not be obvious starting and stopping points if you're wanting to have an accent color, and painting the entire space in a bolder color might feel kind of intimidating. So try using those wall colors in contained spaces like a powder room or a bedroom. And then in places like your kitchen, you could keep the walls neutral and bring that color onto your cabinets instead. I love when people do a bold cabinet color. And then of course, if you prefer to keep the space itself more neutral, you can always bring in color in your furniture, art, and accessories. Fabric and wallpaper. Fabric and wallpaper are also great ways of adding personality to a newer home. If your home came with very basic window coverings, because they are often just white blinds of some sort, consider adding drapery to your windows. This is not only going to add softness and warmth, but it's also an opportunity to add color or pattern or texture. And then of course there are cushions, throw pillows, bedding. These are all ways that you can work with fabric. Wallpaper. The options for wall coverings have just exploded in recent years. I especially like that there are now so many cool options for self-adhesive wallpaper because it just gives more choice to renters and DIYers. Now sometimes it's just one wall is all you need, but it can also be really fun to wallpaper an entire room. Or if you're someone who is lucky enough not to have stippled or knocked down ceilings, you could try wallpapering a ceiling. That would definitely not feel builder grade. Lighting. Lighting is key. Does your home have the dreaded boob lights? Replace them. Even just a very clean, simple flush mount fixture can be a huge improvement over the boob light. And if you have any awkwardly placed ceiling fixtures that you don't want to draw any attention to, these little LED disc lights are inconspicuous and inexpensive. And in the spaces that have larger light fixtures, invest in some statement lighting. So maybe you do a really overscale ceiling fixture in your bedroom, or a cool chandelier or pendant in the dining room. And if you don't have a huge budget, because yes, lighting can be very expensive, you could even just try a very affordable paper lantern. That can often be a really cool option. And you want to consider having a variety of light sources in a space. Bring in table lamps and floor lamps so that you're not always having to use your overhead lighting. Wall sconces are another great option. Even if you're not hardwired for sconces, there are actually a lot of wireless options out there now. Or you could look at using rechargeable light bulbs. And of course, dimmers are great for controlling the amount of light, because harsh overhead lighting definitely makes your home look more builder grade. Well, we have reached the end of yet another video. I thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll join me for the next one, and bye for now, guys.